So today we're going to be interviewing Kjay Woodland, who is signed with Wilhelmina, Los Angeles. Thank you for coming, Kjay.
Thank you for having me.
He's going to tell us his experience and his background with modeling, how he got signed, and pretty much what the experience is like as a model. So I wanted to first start by asking, how did you become a model?
Crazy story. I just finished playing college basketball. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was at a cookout. My mother agent scouted me just from taking a picture with one of my mom's friends. Met him in Beverly Hills, and he got me signed to Wilhelmina the next day.
So was that in Los Angeles, or was that in...
The cookout was in Los Angeles, yeah.
But you're from...
Vegas.
Okay, cool. So you were out here for a basketball thing, and you got discovered?
No, I was out here for a cookout.
Oh, for a cookout?
Yeah.
Okay. Whose cookout?
My aunt's.
Oh, nice. In Beverly Hills?
No, in Century City area.
Oh, okay. Well, LA, basically.
But the thing is, I didn't get scouted until I got back to Vegas. So when he asked me to meet him in Beverly Hills, I just booked it back out here. Met him, and then he got me signed the next day. Had to sleep in a motel for the night.
But he found you where then?
Dude, just a picture of...
On Instagram? Okay, so you got discovered then on Instagram.
My aunt's friend's son models for IMG in New York, and he was in the picture. So he reposted it, and then...
Nice.
He found me.
How did that feel? What was like your first thoughts? Like, because you said that you were playing basketball before this, right? You went from high school to play basketball. That was what your future was, right? You thought you were going to be a basketball or...
I played college.
Okay.
So I played 2 years, and then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And this kind of just fell in my hands a little bit, but I didn't have an Instagram. I wasn't like a big picture guy. It just took me about like 6 months to get like comfortable behind the camera. It was definitely a hard thing to do.
So as a basketball player, being asked to be a model, was that weird for you? Because I know, like, you know, being a basketball player, it's a little bit of a masculine thing. And then being asked to model, it's like, the heck? You want me to take pictures? You want me to look pretty in front of the camera? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How was that transition for you? Like, was it an instant, hell yeah? And did you always kind of think, I kind of look good in front of the camera, I'd be a good model? Or was it like... You had to process it? Like, what was going on in your mind?
The transition was definitely hard because I was worried about my peers, like how they were going to see me, because they've never seen me like that. So it was definitely something I just had to get used to. But I didn't know who Wilhelmina was. I didn't know anything about like modeling. Like once I signed with them, I thought it was kind of like a scam. Told my mom about it and she was freaking out. And that's when I realized like, oh shit, this is kind of big. I didn't know it was something so major.
Right.
I didn't even know modeling was like a job or anything. I was so out of the loop with like social media.
Right.
And once I got started, that's when everything kind of changed for me.
When you did get approached and when you got signed, how much information did you still have about that process? Did you like know anything? Like, okay, I got signed, but what does this mean?
So my mother agent kind of guided me with that, but I didn't even book my first job until 3 months in.
So it's like a minute.
Yeah.
Were you testing at least in between?
Yeah, I was doing tests. I was paying people to do test shoots.
Was this through your mother agent or through
Wilhelmina?
Through Wilhelmina.
So yeah, once kind of just getting started, paying for tests, and later on, once you get like established, you really never have to pay for tests because people just want to collaborate with you. But like in the beginning, it was kind of a struggle just because I just moved out here and didn't have any money. I was sleeping at my best friend's sister's kitchen floor.
Kitchen floor.
Kitchen floor.
They didn't have a living room?
Kitchen floor, I promise you.
They're like, we have a living room with carpet, but you're sleeping on the kitchen floor.
Man, it was terrible. They didn't even have like none of that either because they just moved in and she was just like, you can just stay. And I just had like, you know, those little like blue mattresses.
Mat, basically?
Yeah, basically like that. That's what I was sleeping on.
Damn.
For 10 months until I got like really established, got my apartment. And
so when you were signed and like for the time frame that you were here in LA, all of the money that you made, was it only from modeling or were you doing anything else on the side? And even like up to this day, like has modeling always been your full-time job or have you had to make money doing something else?
Funny story. So when I first moved out here, her roommate worked, she was a manager at Guess. She got me hired there. So I was working there for about 4 months and they fired me because I would always have to like cancel just in case because I had auditions to go to and all of that. So they didn't want me to be around, I guess. And then literally a month later, I'm shooting for Guess.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
So everyone was like hitting me up and was like, oh, wow, like you're doing it. Like, congrats. And it was pretty cool to see. It was funny how like it kind of just went full circle with that moment.
Right.
It was pretty cool.
How much was your first job for Guess?
My first job?
That was a Guess job. Was that your first job?
That was not my first job.
Oh, what was your first job?
Adidas.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Adidas is your first job.
Yeah.
Nice. That's not a bad first job.
It was great too. It was like it was a commercial kind of thing to where I was supposed to just be like the supporting cast. Around lunchtime, they switched it all around and made me like the hero.
So,
then
it was a commercial, like a national commercial type of deal.
yeah, which was like a very like surreal moment. Like,
That's like
'cause-
a very important, big kind of a job.
Yeah.
I think it's the most amount of money you can make as a model is a actual national television commercial, right?
It varies. You can make a lot of money. That I didn't even make a lot of money on compared to like some of the jobs I did to where I was like, how did I get paid this much money? That one
Are
wasn't.
you comfortable with saying how much you got paid for your Adidas?
My Adidas, I think that was $3,500.
Okay. And that was for like day usage, or was that for
I can't even remember.
usage and all that stuff?
I didn't know anything about that like my first probably year getting into it.
Oh, because you were a new face at that point. Also,
Yeah.
they were hiring you on the new face fee.
Yeah, so it was my first ever job. So I was just happy to just be there. And then my second job was Nike. And literally after that, everything
What was the
just-
Nike thing? And do you think that a lot of the reasons why you got more work in these kind of fitness kind of commercial brands was because of your basketball background at all? Or what do you think
I think it was just my look.
Just
I think
perfect.
just something different.
Beautiful, huh?
Just something different, you know? Like
Yeah, because
my
we are
hair.
talking, what year we're talking? We're talking 2017, 18,
Oh.
16, 19?
18.
2018.
End of 2018. My first job was November 2018.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then it was a month of me not working until December where I booked the Nike job.
So for the first, how many months? 6 months you said from your first job to your second job?
So I moved out here August 2018. Didn't get the Adidas job till November. Nike
And that was only
December.
3,500. And then Nike in December.
That was just ecom based models. I mean, base jobs are 2K, and they flew me out to Portland. Never been to Portland before. Took me around like the Nike store.
Nice. Did you watch the movie?
I
Air?
didn't. I heard it was good.
You didn't?
I didn't watch it.
Wait, were you the one that said that you didn't watch it because you didn't show Michael Jordan or something?
Oh no, I would
Okay.
still watch it.
Someone told me that. I don't know who it was. So okay, so then Nike, and that was just Ecom, and then when did you shoot for Guess?
I got fired from Guess after Christmas.
But at this
So-
time, you were working as a model for that one job, building your portfolio, and then also working at Guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where your other income was when you were first out here.
Yeah.
So you were working as you were modeling and building up your portfolio. Can you explain too, like when you were doing these paid test shoots, did you pay out of pocket or did you pay through the agency as like through your account?
Through the agency
Okay, and
because I couldn't afford it.
can you explain too like how that works, right? Because
Yeah.
basically, from my understanding, the agencies have an account where if you need to test shoot, you'll pay, and then you'll pay them back when you get work from companies and jobs, right?
That's exactly how it
So
goes.
basically, and what was like the average rate of a test shoot you were paying for then, if you remember?
It depended on the photographer, but about like $300 to $500 usually. And like now, I'm at the point to where I probably won't pay for a test shoot. I would be open to like helping like pay for like a peer space or something like that, but I would never pay like $300, $400 for like a test shoot. But I feel like you have to get established a little bit before you can kind of, I wouldn't say it's arrogance that I have, but it's like,
No, I get what you
But-
mean. It's like what I was talking about them earlier. I would never do photography for free.
Yeah,
I would
like-
just never do it. It was-
once you get to the point to where you like respect
Right.
how you work and
in your experience as a model, when you were working with these photographers, how fast did you develop? You know, people are going to be watching the shoot that we did earlier today, and they're going to see how well you moved in front of the camera. You were pretty confident. You moved. We weren't awkward or stiff. So at what point and how fast did you learn to do that? You came from playing basketball, and then all of a sudden this guy knows how to model in front of a camera with ease. What do you think helped, made you better and stronger as a model?
yeah, because I remember the Adidas and Nike, I was definitely very stiff. I was very nervous. I think after I shot my first campaign where I was surrounded by models who were like very established, 100,000 plus followers, and I was the only one who was like 1,000 followers, and they kind of helped me to where like they were giving me sort of tips and telling me like I have the look, giving me like a confidence boost. I feel like that was where I kind of like took off, because after that, when I tell you I was working like nonstop for like 4 or 5 months, I was making a lot of money like in the beginning of my career.
And then I would assume then that watching and observing all these other models, then that is what helped also make you
Yeah.
improve, kind of like observing and seeing how other people that you're working with are moving. Do you feel that as a model, you've been able to become more confident? Like how has it affected your self-esteem and your confidence just generally in your life?
Yeah, like it's crazy because I was never like a confident like person. I wasn't the type of person to just like, now if I see somebody who looks good, I'd be like, hey, you look pretty. Like that's just how I am now. Like before, too nervous, too shy, like never really approached anybody. Like I would be too scared to even ask questions to another model. Like now it's just like, if I see you, I'm going to say something to you. I feel like my social skills have just boosted just being a part of this life that I am forever grateful for. I think it's a very big thing for people who want to get out their comfort zone. I was very like comfortable, and once I got out of it, it was just like, damn, like this feels good. Like I could be like this at all times instead of like this shy little boy who wants to just stay in his like safe house. Now I look at everything that I do, like if I feel comfortable, I want to go out and do something to where I feel uncomfortable, because I feel like that's the only way I'll grow in my life.
As a basketball player, did you not feel the same way when you were playing in front of people?
So that was like, yeah, that's different. So
Good question though, right? Because
yeah.
I would think that there's a similar feeling, because I feel like if
Yeah.
you're being watched and you're playing this game and all these people are cheering for you, it gives you that confidence. It gives you that like rush. It's similar to when you're in front of a camera, because all eyes are on you and you're having to like lead the direction of the shoot almost in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Were you
like,
bad at basketball?
Oh no. No. But it's so weird, like, because like when you ask it, like when I play basketball, like everything is kind of just, the crowd doesn't bother me, like everything is kind of just dark besides like the court. When I do modeling, sometimes I still get like it today, to where, for instance, this past week I just did a commercial. We had to shoot downtown and I was the lead for the commercial, so I'm the only one doing the video for it. People coming outside, taking pictures of me, coming up to me asking like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? I kind of got overwhelmed by it, because it's just like, damn, like people actually care. Like I'm not, like with basketball, it was just like the crowd just yelling stupid things to you. Like with the modeling, like when people see you actually doing stuff, they want to be like your friend. They want to be like a fan. They want to, they want to support you. Compared to like basketball, it was like either or. I mean, I guess it's still either or with it too. I just haven't reached the point to where I have like bad people.
Haters.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of those. But
I guess I know what you're saying. You're basically saying that as a model, it feels more personal, like people care about you because they're drawn to something that's literally about you. Whereas in basketball, it's about the game, it's about the team, and it's about the hype. And it's not about really you, it's about the game, basically, right? So, which is actually interesting, because I think that it still isn't about you, because they don't really know you, even as a model.
Exactly.
It's just about your look, and maybe they like the way that you look, but it's still not about you, because it's not really gonna be about you until they know you, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's closer, and so it feels probably more like, oh, this is cool and stuff, right? I imagine. Was it always that good though? Like, were there some downsides to modeling in your experience?
Yeah. The hardest part is just like, you can have like a bad day.
What does that mean? What's a bad day look like as a model?
Well, I'm saying like a bad day, like going through like a breakup or going through like a passing in your family, and you have to go work, put on a smile on your face for 8 hours, and you don't want to be there, but you have to be there. I've struggled with that numerous times, but it's something that you have to just kind of fight through. That's the hardest part of it, because you can't go into work with a bad attitude. You have to be presentable so that they want you to come back.
Right.
So if you're going through something, you have to like mask it all up and make sure that you're on your A game, even if like whatever's going on is really affecting you. And I've had that happen numerous times, and it was just like, it's draining a little bit.
But it's not like exclusive to modeling. That's everybody, right?
Yeah, that's everything. I mean, I feel like it's just so different just because of like working at Guess. If I had like a bad day, I could kind of maneuver to where I don't really need to socialize with people.
Like you don't need to smile when you're feeling sad, basically, because when you're being hired, you have to look happy and look like the part and stuff. That makes sense too.
And
I guess that could be.
Ecom's a drag. Like that's 8 hours of just changing clothes and doing the same positions, the same smiles, and being friendly with the camera people and the creative directors behind. Like you have to, just so you could be able to come back.
Right, and that's what I teach them too, is that you have to be able to have a switch when to be on and off. And being on doesn't necessarily mean that you're being fake. It just means that you're being what you need to be in the moment in order for you to get people that are working with you to have a good basic review. Because I liken a lot modeling as a business in this course, where like for me as a photographer, I have a Google reviews and my clients write me Google reviews. And so not that you're intending to manipulate habits so that people write a review, but you're trying to offer an experience by offering a service as a model so that people want to bring you back and tell people good things about working with you, essentially. So that's exactly what I I ensure that models are understanding that they have to do if they want to work more, because that ultimately
Yeah.
leads to more jobs. And I'm sure for you too, like making the money makes you happy, you
Yeah.
know? So what would be like the lowest paying job and the highest paying job that you've made as a model?
Lowest, one time I did this like event. I was like the guard person, but they wanted like a pretty face because it was A-list
You were
celebrities.
a security guard?
I was basically, I was a security guard, but like I had like real security guards around me, and I was letting people in like Zendaya, Damson Idris, Al Pacino. I was doing that type of job, but they just wanted like a pretty face to be at the door. I think that was $900 that I did it for.
Damn.
But my biggest job.
Well, how many hours was it? So it was
7
like,
hours.
Oh, it's like 150 an hour or something like that.
Something
I don't
like
know.
that.
I can't do math.
125.
125.
But it was still cool because I
Yeah.
got to see Zendaya in person. That's kind of crazy. So
When was this?
this had to be last year.
Oh, okay.
It was like a YSL event.
So you're not above
Oh,
working any less rate than you've worked before. Why do you think
No.
that is? Are you more humble than other people?
I feel so. Like,
or is it just because like you kind of understand that as a model, you really have to make sure that you make as much money as you can, because you never know when you're not.
so a little bit of both. So it's like for me, I feel like I always want to put myself in like a room surrounded by like good people. Being at that
Zendaya's.
event, yeah. Like imagine like you just never know what could happen. You know, I'm going there and they're like, "Oh, I like your look." Like,
Right, that's true.
it didn't happen, but I went out of my way to do this job just in case.
No, you're right. It's like seeing it as you're getting paid to potentially have more opportunities for something in the
Exactly.
future. So that's not a bad way to look at it, actually.
But then the money thing, like there's definitely dry seasons for modeling. This past summer, dry for me. So it's like, usually summers are dry for me because it's a lot of swimwear stuff and I have a lot of tattoos. So sometimes a lot of brands want clean looks, not too many tattoos. Summer's dry for me. So I have to kind of manage my money pretty well for when summer comes up. Try to just make sure that I'm
Taking care of.
above comfortable, because I don't want to be just comfortable and then fall down the rabbit hole of like being stuck in a position that I can't get out of. But at the same time, you never know what kind of gig you'll get to where I can make the money back with just one gig. So it's kind of just like modeling's great just because of the aspect of you could not work for however long and then one day you could just get like a job for like 4K and it's like that's all the money back. I think that's the best thing about modeling. I mean, acting's like that too, with residuals,
Right.
to where you get checks randomly. I know with the commercial that I just did, I'll probably get checks randomly until they stop airing the commercial. So it's stuff like that. So I definitely do jobs because I want the money. Like I don't want to just stop hustling, you know.
Going back, because I do want to mention your tattoos, but highest paying job.
Supercuts.
Supercuts.
Want to guess?
50K?
Oh, damn. I wish. 12K.
12K.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I had a friend that shot with Beats by Dre, and then so like sometimes you get for the first year. And my brother also did a commercial for Pine Sol, so he in total 5 years or like 4 years made like 45,000 in total. So is that how some of the companies you've worked with have been, where it's like in that 1 year that you got the job, you got paid one payment, but then when you add up all the residuals, it ended up being a total amount?
Yeah. So let me rephrase that then. So then it was 18,000 because they wanted to reuse it, so they paid me an extra 6,500 on top of that, like a year later.
Okay, so within the 2 years, your first job was 12K, and then you got paid the next year 65, so about 18,500.
Yep.
Nice.
So that was like sometimes I might just be chilling and my agent would text me, "Hey, they want to reuse your pictures. You're getting paid $3,000 again." And it's like, okay, shoot, cool.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay, now going back to your tattoos. Well, number one, I think a lot of models' concerns is like, hey, I have tattoos. Like, are they gonna want to use me because I got tattoos? But you're working, right? So
Yeah.
did you have all of those tattoos when you got signed? And then, well, yeah, okay, so what was your experience with tattoos?
Yeah, so I had none of this. And I didn't have this. All I had when I first started was this tattoo and my chest tattoo. It's pretty normalized now. You can book work with like Nike, or I shoot with Men's Warehouse a lot now. And you would think that they're very like tedious about those things, but they're really not. They think it's cool. They want to like engage the youth, and everyone loves tattoos now. So it's not that big of a deal as much as it used to be. Back in the day, I think I really started when tattoos were starting to get more normalized. So I got kind of lucky with that.
Do you think that you would be working more if you didn't have tattoos?
No.
You think it'd work just the same or less?
I think maybe less. I think my tattoos kind of bring more out of me. And I feel like as long as you don't have any like stupid things on you, then you're completely fine. I know a guy who has tattoos from his neck to actually his head all the way down his body, who is one of the biggest models in the world. So it's like, as long as you're not putting dumb things on you and just trying to be like if you have like a lot of skulls and stuff on you, or like any like guns and stuff, it's like, we don't want him.
Right.
We don't want to have that
But you did show
appear
me
to our audience.
that there was a brand that photoshopped your tattoos off, yeah?
That was crazy. I've never had that happen to me before. Like, that was Old Navy.
Yeah.
And they paid well. They paid very well. And when I got there, they were like, "We love your tattoos. Like, is that one new?" They were just talking to me about my tattoos. And then I go on the site and they're all gone. It wasn't even my arms. And you could tell like the discoloration from my wrist down.
So you've been signed to Wilhelmina for how many years?
5.
5 years. Okay. And throughout all of these years, how have you maintained? Because number one, a lot of models usually switch agencies after like their first 2 years.
Yeah.
But you've stayed with them for 5. Why?
I think I'm lucky enough that they don't have a lot of people that look like me on their board. But at the same time, you kind of get lost in the board. So when I'm having like a dry season or whatever, I'll make sure to talk to my agent. I'll make sure to text him like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? Anything coming up? Any castings or anything like that?" I was afraid of that, but I'm not afraid of that anymore. I mean, you're always allowed to do it, but I'm just not scared to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And if I want to push for something, I'll text them and be like, "Hey, make this happen for me. Hey, could we do this?" So I feel like that's how I kind of maintained it. I don't see myself leaving them unless I'm not working at all, but I haven't been there yet. So, I mean, I love them. They're great. I have a total of 3 agents out here in LA who
Are part of your team.
keep in touch, even like through Instagram. If I post my dog, they're like, "Oh, how's Cass?" You know, your Instagram, like what you're like doing. Like at one point I was doing a lot of boxing classes to where like I was getting castings for it, like all of a sudden. So like if you kind of show that, and the main thing that people look at now is Instagram. I mean, they look at the board to see you, but they're going to go click your tag to go make sure like what you look like now and what's your recent updates. So you have to kind of keep your Instagram rolling. You can't really.
And how good are you at keep committing to that?
I'm not the greatest. I'm not going to lie. I hate the aspect of social media, to be honest with you. I hate going out somewhere and having to bring out my phone and make sure people see what I'm doing. I hate that. I like to just live in the moment. I feel like that's been my biggest struggle. Modeling's going towards a direction of what audience can you bring. So it's like, I'm not somebody who has like hella followers. There's some jobs that I do miss opportunities of because I don't have a lot of followers. For instance, I was going head to head with this dude for Louis Vuitton. He had 120K followers. I had 6,000. I understand why they chose him. Once he posted it, his fans go see it, and then they go on Louis Vuitton. So that's...
Do you think though that they paid him more because of his followers, or they would have paid you both the same?
I don't know. It depends, because I've definitely been on a job to where I've made more money than someone who had more followers than me.
I asked that because that model would have been stupid to have posted that post and not have gotten more money from them for that post.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach in this course too, because I'm like, look, when you post for a client's job that you did, that is because you decide to want to share and you like the photo. But when you have a following, you have to consider the fact that you are publishing and promoting them to your audience, which you can charge an additional fee. If they're hiring you for a job, they're paying you for the job. They're not paying you to post. And so you have to consider that a part of something you offer. Hey, I can also post this for an additional 2K, 5K, or however much money that you're going to charge and stuff. Because that's something that you probably didn't even think about. Like, I wonder if he made more money, like if he charged, or maybe that model didn't even think about, like, did he charge them more for that post?
Sometimes they do ask.
Because if that's the case, it's like, then why, if I was a brand, why bother wasting either or? If they're not going to post, then I basically just have to look at you guys for what you guys are as opposed to your followers and stuff. But I worked for a clothing company. We chose someone that had more followers versus someone that was probably the better likelihood model.
Yeah.
Because we were at that time a smaller brand and we needed the publicity, and we assumed that she would post. We didn't ask her to. She did. But if I was the model and I'm like, I would like, you should have charged, for that post, because you shouldn't be doing like the free advertising unless you really like them and like you really believe in. But if they're Louis Vuitton, different situation.
Yeah.
What is the most in a year you've made in modeling?
Oh, I don't know, because I do a lot of gigs like on my own. I wouldn't advise that. But
Why not?
You can get in trouble for that. You could definitely get in trouble for that.
I do talk to them about that. So
Yeah, so like out here in LA, if I work in LA, I have to make it go through my agency. And I don't do that sometimes just because it's like, why do that? My agency is going to try to upcharge them a lot more, which might make me lose this opportunity that I can just have and they can just pay me straight up. So that's why it's kind of hard because
well, I'm not asking how much money have you made being signed as a model, but just
I'm saying like in total, like I'm trying to think like it's because I work through New Book,
Right.
which is a modeling app too, to where I make a good amount on there too.
this is exactly what I encourage models is like you have to see modeling being signed as they are a part of a team that are helping you bring in revenue for the business that you already run. And so that doesn't mean that you should stop making money for yourself.
Yeah.
It means that they just help bring in more money in revenue from one end, but you should still figure out how to bring in revenue on another end. And yeah, you want to do that within compliance of the contract that you have with them, but that's why you also want to negotiate better. Like the only reasons why contracts like this exist is because people kind of accepted it and they don't like to challenge it because most models are dumb. In most cases, it's better to bring a job under your agency if you're newer. If you already have been in this business for a while and you know how to advocate for yourself, there's no need for you to go through your agency for finding a gig because it's like, why? I already know how to advocate for myself. I can create my own agreements with these brands and they found me directly because of what I built on social media. This agency didn't do anything for me. So why am I paying them?
Yeah.
You know, so that's my mindset. And I think that that's fair because I'm teaching models here fair business. And so what I think it's fair is if your agency is bringing you that job, then yeah, you definitely want to go through them for it. Or if you feel that your agency is going to increase your rate so that you make more money and they're going to advocate for you and you want that protection, then bring that job through them. But if you did all the work, why would I be paying my agency for it? Like I would have an argument with an agent. Like, why would I be paying you for something that I got? Like you didn't do anything for it. Well, it's in the contract. Well, that's why people have to be very smart with how they approach contracts and stuff. Or you just don't tell them. I mean, most cases people will do that. Just tell them it's for your friend and they're gonna leave you alone.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So it's for my friend. It's for my cousin. You know, for your sister.
Yeah, I do that all the time. That's literally my excuse. If they ask, I don't post if I'm working like without them because then it's like they'll have the reason to ask. So I kind of just keep it on the low.
Right.
But I've had a moment to where the brand, I guess one of my agents followed the brand or something and he was like, oh, how'd you do this? Or how'd you get into this? And I was like, oh, my friend's a photographer. And he asked me to do it for just like a couple $100. And he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that. But if I'm doing like, I did a Puma job by myself and I was scared shitless because I was like, damn, if that kind of takes off a bit, I can get in trouble for that one.
Yeah.
Because it's a big brand. When it comes to like these little brands out here, just LA has so many different brands out here.
Right.
Everyone has a clothing brand basically. So when you're doing like the little brands, you can get away with it. But it's like the big brands, like you might want to be a little careful. But I know people who have in their contract to where they find work on their own, they could go do it.
Just non-exclusive contract, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, I think it was just me just not knowing about it and just...
How long is your contract? Is it 2 year, 2 year, 2 year?
Yeah.
So you're on your first year of the second or the third contract?
Yep.
Today's podcast is brought to you by me, Brandon Andre. If you're a model who wants to become a working model, then you need to enroll in my Model Masterclass today. In my online class, I teach models how to make more money by showing them how to manage their careers as a business. From getting signed, to building a portfolio that gets you jobs, to building an audience on TikTok and Instagram, then monetizing it, to learning how to win the favor from your agents and casting directors, to learning how to brand yourself on social media, and how to lure in brands and brand deals to increase your income as a model. Getting signed doesn't mean you'll get work, but learning how to run a business does. So enroll in my Model Masterclass now by going to my website at brandonandrephoto.com. If you were to summarize your modeling career from the good and the bad, would you encourage someone else to follow your same footsteps, or would you tell them to do something differently?
Ooh, that's hard. That's very hard because I feel like with me, it kind of just fell into my lap. So I didn't really have to work too hard to get to it. As to like when people ask me like, can you get me into modeling? Sometimes I kind of just don't know like how to really approach it. My best advice is a mother agent and trying to have them help you find it.
And now it's going to be by Brandon Andre's How to Be a Model Masterclass.
Yeah, so now we got this, you know. My footsteps is just, it's so different than anybody else's. I feel like everyone's going to have their own journey with it. And if you really want to go for it, you have to like, that has to be your plan A. Like the one thing that I try not to worry about is like a plan B. If you try to just focus on what you want, strive for it, I think it'll all come into fruition as long as you're putting effort for it. So yeah, it's just your own journey, you know?
So to answer the question, would you encourage someone else to follow your same footsteps, or what would you tell them to do differently? So you're saying, I don't know what I would tell them to do.
I just feel like everyone's journey's different. Like my journey was like it got handed to me,
Right.
you know? So it's not like I had to go online and go
But that's, I
do
guess,
research.
the beginning of it, right? But you've been on it for a
Yeah.
while. So like throughout your journey, like are there things that like
Oh, okay.
understand a contract? Like I wish I would have known the contract better ahead of time. I wish I would have done research so I know. I mean, it doesn't seem like you've had any traumatizing experiences as a model, which could be because you do a lot of commercial stuff. Well, I don't know. Have you had traumatizing experiences as a model? We are very open about the realities of the dark side of this business where
Yeah.
people do a lot of weird stuff, photographers. Have you had bad experiences where photographers are weird and you didn't know how to handle it because you didn't know to expect it?
Yeah, there has been, like when I first started, kind of just thinking like that was modeling. Like when they'd be like, you want to do an underwear shoot? I'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But then there's moments to where like photographers will take advantage of that and be like, okay, what do you think about nude? And then I was like, nude? And then they'll press you and press you and press you. And that's when I realized that like some photographers just like, they want to see how far you'll go. For men, it's like, you okay to do shirtless? Are you okay to be in your underwear? Then are you okay to be nude? They kind of like test you to see how far you'll go. And I've had that experience to where I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then he was like, why not? Let's do it. And I was like, I'll pack my bags right now. Like we could finish this shoot, but I'm not doing what you're asking me for. And I feel like a lot of people kind of get stuck with that to where they feel scared about it.
And that was when you were signed already, right?
Yeah, I was signed already.
And did you bring that up to your agent? Like, hey, this photographer asked me to do something I felt uncomfortable with.
It was a photographer that I did on my own. So it wasn't through the agency. It was just me testing with somebody who DM'd me. He was a very well-known photographer. There's a lot of very well-known photographers that are just like weird. I won't name drop this guy, but he's like Cardi B's photographer and stuff like that. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, I'll shoot with him. It's a scary
How did
business.
you feel like you had the confidence to say no? It's just like,
I mean, at the time, I was still new, so I still had that like masculine.
and how old were you?
21. So I still had like that masculine side of like from basketball to where like I was like for me, I was like, I will beat your ass right now. That's how I felt. And like now it's I'm a whole different person with a different mindset.
Right. In hindsight, could you tell that he would have done something like that by the content that he was producing?
No. So it was crazy that he kind of flipped the switch because like even with like the photo shoot was like just a bunch of like designer clothes.
Was it just you and him?
We shot twice. So the first time it wasn't just me and him.
Always the second time.
Second time it was just
Always
me
the
and him.
second time.
So I thought I trusted him, you know? And then he was like, it was so weird. Like I still remember it of just him being like, let's do it. And I was like, no. He was like, do you want to get loose? Like we can get a drink. And I was like, no, like I'm okay. Why would I drink for a shoot? So it's just like they try to play mind games with you and they try to be your friend. And
you've never had this experience with a photographer that came through your agency, only
Nope.
through the ones that you've done on your own. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And that never happened after that? Like you've never encountered an experience like that after?
I don't think so. I've heard stories of like girls have it the worst.
I've heard stories from girls, but I've heard more stories from male models. Like
Really?
horrible. Like the fact that you've only had one experience is pretty shocking because throughout the last 10 years that I've been in this business, like I only hear the worst stories. So you've had it pretty good.
I feel like people are like intimidated by me because I'm so like I got RBF. Like it's
I like how you said that as your face was twitching. In terms of community and having a social life, has it been easy making good lifetime friendships with the people in this business who you actually feel love and care about you?
No. I mean, there's a few people to where I could be like, he's a friend or vice versa. It's hard to make relationships out here, for sure. Everybody wants something from you. I figured that out like once I started modeling, it was just everybody asking me for this. I had people asking me for like money and people asking me to help pay their rent. I'm like, I don't even work yet. Like you guys are asking me all these questions and asking me for all these favors and I'm not even like established. Like in LA too, it's like people fake it till they make it. I know people who wear a bunch of designer stuff but sleep on air mattress. So it's like, I try not to surround myself around those people because I'm definitely not that type of person. I mean, I'm wearing like $15 sweatpants right now. Like I'm just so humble with it. I don't need to fake anything about myself. And
Humble.
but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so many people are like that out here, and you surround yourself with them, you'll tend to end up like them.
Right.
And that's the worst thing you could possibly do for yourself out here, because then people like me will realize it and don't want to socialize with you.
Right.
Or I will flake on anybody who's like that.
Name some of the brands that you've worked with in your 10 year. Name some of the brands you've worked with as a model.
From Nike, Adidas, Men's Warehouse,
Riri.
Skechers, New Balance. Who?
Riri.
Oh, yeah.
How can you
Savage
forget?
Fenty. That was my favorite job ever. I literally worked for an hour and I was gone.
Damn. How much was that?
4,000
Damn. For an hour.
for an hour.
Shoot. During the pandemic too, right? 2020.
Yeah, they literally just threw me in there, put oil on me. We took pictures and then took group pictures when I was out there. I DM Rihanna.
For that job? Mm-hmm. You straight up was like, yo, get me in.
I DM.
And did she say, okay?
She never replied, but the next day, my agent was like, "Hey, Savage Fenty booked you for this week."
Damn.
That's kind of crazy, because, like, not gonna lie, I was just drunk. And I was like, I want to work for Rihanna. She got, like, her Fenty stuff. And
Yeah.
I DM'd her. Next day, my agent, literally next day. So that's when I was like, so she saw it.
Yeah.
Like, Rihanna saw it. And then I went to the makeup artist. It's her personal makeup artist. And I was like, I DM'd her and she got me this job. And she was like, she handpicked everybody here right now.
Oh, wow. Damn.
So that was a very, like, surreal moment.
Yeah,
You know?
that's dope. That's pretty cool. Any more cool brands that you've worked with? What are some of like unsuspecting brands or companies or like jobs you've had? Like, okay, Buckle. They're still around?
Yeah, they flew me out to, like, Tennessee, and I had to, like, shoot in, like, a old, like, barn bar, which doesn't, like, fit me, but, you know, I guess it works. American Eagle, that's a great job.
That's unsuspecting?
Oh, well, no, I wouldn't say unsuspecting, but that's just a great job. I don't know, I feel like every job that I kind of work is kind of like kind of goes hand in hand with me.
Yeah.
Besides, like, Buckle, I feel like that was kind of just, like, rare. I was like, Buckle.
What work in your modeling career has been the most consistent? You know, because you have the campaigns and then you have the e-com. So what would you say, like, you do regularly pretty much?
E-com.
E-com?
Yeah, but I hate e-com. I hate it. It's a drag. And depending on who it is too. Some brands don't care. They want to get the hell out of there too. So if I'm just going through it, which I usually do, we can get through the day by, like, lunchtime. Other brands, you have to leave at the specific time of your 8-hour day. So,
Does that mean that you make the same amount if like it's an 8-hour day that they're hiring you for, but you wrap up in 4 hours? They have to pay you for the full 8 hours?
they pay me for the full 8 hours. So sometimes some jobs are like, nah, he's going to stay here for the full 8 hours. Those are the worst type of people. Nike's like that. I hate working with Nike sometimes. Because they'll have me sitting around for like 3 hours just on my phone. And then they'll be like, okay, let's shoot these. And then you can go. And it's like, I could just shoot them right now and be out of here.
Right.
But they're very tedious on their time.
Okay, so of these jobs that you've done with all these big brands, how long did it take for you to actually see the money in your bank?
It all depends. At first, it would take like a month and a half, 2 months, sometimes 3 months. But I'm at the point to where I learned, like, I check my statements regularly to make sure, like, if I work a job, I'm going to see when it gets entered into the system. And then I know it shouldn't take more than a month. And I press my finance people about it too. I haven't got paid for this job. It's been 3 weeks. How long is it going to take? They'll let me know. They'll update me. Another good thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can ask for, like, an advance of jobs.
Oh, really?
If they're taking too long. Sometimes it's not the agency's fault. Sometimes it's the brand's fault.
Who you ask the advance from, the agency or the brand?
The agency would just
Ask the
send you
brand?
the money.
Oh, got it.
And then whenever they get it from the brand, I think they charge an extra 5% though. It's really nothing.
So basically like cash advance from a credit card.
Yeah.
Oh, is there like a dashboard for you to log on for you to check like statements and stuff? Or like how do you navigate?
I just email the finance person.
And they send you a
she
statement.
sends me my statements, and then
See, this is what these agencies are so old school. They don't even have like a dashboard for their models to log in to pay out. That'd be so much better for them.
agencies will hold on to your money as long as they can. They make more money doing so, holding it in their own account. It's like new people getting in, they'll hold on to it as long as they can, unless you're not asking about it. And a lot of people won't ask about it. I didn't ask about it. I was just like, I guess this is how it goes. And then once I learned that, I was like, oh no, like, you have to be persistent with it. You can't let them do that because they'll do it for as long as they can.
And how did you learn to demand your money? Someone told you, or you just realized
Yeah.
I need the money?
No, my friend, he told me, he's been modeling longer than I have. He was like, you need to just email them. Like, it's your money. You did the work already. So don't feel bad about asking them. If you feel that they're annoyed by it, it's your money. So don't be shy in the corner about something that's yours, basically.
You already worked for it. You already did the work and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so as a model, how many runway shows or magazine editorials have you done? And do you think that those jobs make up the entirety of what it is to be a working model?
I've done one runway show.
For who?
Guess.
Where?
At their facility out here. It was just, I think his name's Paul Marciano.
Oh, yeah.
He just wanted to like showcase his stuff in front of everybody. That's the only runway I've
But that wasn't
done.
like a fashion week thing?
No.
That was just...
I honestly don't see myself ever doing that. It's a lot of hard work for little pay. It's like a 12-hour day for like $300 to $500. You just going around in a circle, changing real quick. They work you like a dog. And I don't think I have the capability or...
desire?
Yeah, I do not care for that. Editorials, they're cool. You don't really get paid for those. It's just to get your look out there. Like I did GQ for China.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
And it was
Like
just,
a spread?
Yeah, it was cool. Like I didn't get paid for it, but it was like cool.
You can say that you were GQ, basically.
Yeah, editorials don't really pay. The main work is e-com and campaigns and commercials now. E-com's where you get consistent money. That's where the consistent money is. Campaigns, it's hit or miss if you're going to be able to get those. They got to really like you for you to get those.
Because they want to enjoy working with you.
Yeah, and commercials, same thing.
And how old are you?
26.
26. So how much longer do you think you're going to continue to be modeling for? How many years do you think you got going for you?
It's crazy. For men, it's a lot different than women. Women, you kind of hit the 30-ish mark. You got to kind of decide what you want to do. For men, I could probably keep going until I'm like 50.
You really can, because I was on all of these modeling agencies' websites when I was doing some of these modules, and you go to the men's division, and a lot of them are older. Most of them were older men, and I was actually really surprised. I was like, damn, these guys be working. I don't know if these male models are working full-time as models where they're able to like survive and build off a whole family with the income that they make from modeling, or if they put money into investments and then they model on the side. I would like more transparency on that, for models that have been in it for a long time. But in your case, there's really no end for you, because you probably aren't going to age. You don't even look like you've aged since I've seen your old photos. So you're probably going to be in it for a while. In terms of how consistent the income is going to be and how much money you're going to be making, it might obviously fluctuate. So let's say modeling finishes for you. They're like, you know what? We're tired of you. What would you do next? What would be your next move? Or where do you see this going for you?
So I'm at the point now to where modeling is a little repetitive for me.
Oh, you're above it now. Okay, shoot.
It's just,
Shoot.
I want something different.
Oh.
And I'm using it as a stepping stone to get into acting now.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But to go off of what you were saying with like, you don't know about the like how much money they're making and stuff. I was told that once you hit like 28, 29, 30 for men, it's like that's when you get like the colognes, more suit companies. So you get like the bigger brands of like that aspect. Like for me, I'm still like the teenagey phase. So I'm getting like Tilly's or Old Navy, jobs like that. So I feel like it's just different like levels to it. I feel like it doesn't stop depending on who you are. And also like with commercials too. Like I could be a dad or something like when I'm older.
Right.
And so that's why I feel like it's a good living. I think you need to have multiple incomes for sure. I've been fortunate enough to only just be doing modeling.
Which brings me back to my original point. If you remember, what would you say like your average then of a year or of others? Because people want to know, like, can I live off of modeling?
Yeah.
And not even just can I live, but can I thrive off of modeling? So like in your experience in your career, at least 1 year being a good year, was that consistent throughout all your years as a model? Has it progressed every year? Has it been different? Some years low, some years high? What can you tell us?
It definitely fluctuates. I think my first year, Jesus Christ, I can't even remember. But I made a lot of money that year because it was just I was doing more campaigns because I was a fresh face. Nobody has ever seen me before. And it was just like, we want him, we want him, we want him.
We'll do it this way. Over 50K for your first year?
Definitely.
Over 80K?
Maybe just by a little bit. And now it's like, it fluctuates. Like maybe after that, probably went down to like 70. Maybe after that, it probably went down to 60, but I was doing my own stuff to where it probably added up back to 70 to 80.
Which is really good considering the fact that if you can pull off, I mean, if you can pull off an extra 30K from modeling, but you have another thing that you're doing,
Yeah.
that's a good extra thing to do because modeling doesn't take a lot of time. 30K in a model's career can be made in like a week with a year's, you know, work year, and then like you're doing anything else and you could be making an additional 50K and boom, you're making 80K from modeling and then doing something else. So you've chosen, and a lot of models choose, which is not what I advise people to do, to only have an income from modeling. But if you had another income, if you had another thing that you started, you'd be making, probably have a lot of money.
I know. And I feel like that was just like the laziness of me. If I can go back,
that's what he would do differently.
That's what I would do differently. Yep. There it is.
That's what you do is figure out what other thing you can do to make money on the side. Are you investing your money? Are you having plans to do you have any investments like I'm teaching models to do?
Yeah. I mean, I have, I was fortunate enough to know this one model who turned into an accountant, and now he opened an account for me with a Roth IRA and an individual account.
That's what I said. Roth IRA, retirement plan for you.
Because we don't have those opportunities.
Right.
You know? So I was fortunate enough for that. I try to put a lot of other models into that too, just because, I mean, you just never know what could happen. That's about it though. I used to try to get into like stocks. I lost my money and I was like, never again. So I haven't been back to that.
Income wise though, like you're expanding out into acting. That's another thing, which is a good thing because it can make you more money in the long term. But are you planning to do anything outside of, like, you know, a lot of models go from doing this to also doing like real estate or personal training or like, you know, your typical, you know, do you see yourself needing to do anything else? Would you like to do anything else? Like, do you have like an aspiration of making and achieving more money and just having modeling supplement that journey to reaching like 120K, because modeling brought in 80K, but then this thing brought in 40K. So, you know, do you have a plan for that?
I've thought about real estate because it's one of the, if you look presentable and know how to talk, you can make a lot of money. I have a friend he was actually on set with me for Buckle. This was 2 years ago. He was never in real estate. He got into real estate and now he's on selling OC on Netflix. Damn, like just because he's a pretty face. Like I said in the beginning, I don't want to try to have plan Bs. I want to try to like make my plan A like my full focus. So I try not to worry about that because I feel like if need be, I can handle it. So I don't think about the different things that I should do just in case something bad happens.
You know, in business, and this is what I teach in this course too, you don't think about failure or plan B. And those who only see what I'm suggesting as that have no idea how to manage money. But in business, there's this concept called an exit strategy, where at a certain point in a business, people plan to sell their business so that they can no longer, like, there's a whole concept of, okay, the first thing is you have to work to attain an income. And then you take that income and you create a business that's making you money. But then you grow that business so that you can eventually sell that business and then live off of the money that business made you, right? So there's like different layers to wealth building. And that's like one of the concepts is an exit strategy. So basically a lot of entrepreneurs build businesses with the exit strategy in mind so that they can have the valuation of a product be at 5 million, sell it off, and then they're just living now and they don't really have to like do anything, right? So I don't like the concept of plan B. I like the concept of an exit strategy because you never know where this goes. And ultimately you want to be in a position where you know you can make money elsewhere so that number one, it funds your creative joy of doing this, because then you could do projects without needing to do it based upon I need money. I would reframe it as an exit strategy, especially because, which I guess for you is beneficial, the pandemic, right? The industry didn't shut down for you and you still made.
I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I was so lucky.
Because that hit a lot of models.
It hit hard. My ex, she was in like a model apartment and they like closed everything down. So she had to live with me. So it was like, damn, I didn't know like it was going to turn into like all that. Like for her, she wasn't working. For me, I was working. So it just varied on different people. I was very fortunate.
And it's crazy because you can't predict it. And I think that's what people have to be very mindful of as a model, is that you cannot predict how your look is going to be received in the business. Your look has been received pretty well and you're working, you know, and a lot of people just can't predict it and stuff. But, oh wait, let me ask you before we wrap up, because this is probably what people want to know. So you're a light-skinned black man with tattoos and freckles in this business, okay? How has that mattered to you as a model? I just asked the biggest question of this entire conversation.
So to really like, it affects a little bit like when I think about like certain jobs I get, you know, like sometimes I feel like when I get these jobs, I'm just black enough compared to like my dark skinned friends. Like for Buckle, we went to the casting together and my dark skinned friends were there and they were like, we're not gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I was like, damn. Like it's not like a good feeling sometimes because like I'm a part of that community. They see me as like enough, you know? So it's like, I feel like that's the only downfall, like when I think about it like too deep, but I mean, I'm making my money, so I don't really, you know.
So you're like, you have a little bit of sympathy and feel bad because you're getting the jobs that they aren't. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's something you can feel guilty over because it has nothing to do with you.
Because sometimes I can't get jobs because I'm not dark enough.
Right.
So it's like, it goes hand in hand. I can't be upset about that, you know, because I'm getting these jobs that I'm enough, you know?
I think a lot of models, though, fear racism. Actually, it is something to be, especially in high fashion. But do you feel like you've encountered that in like commercial world?
No, I don't think so. I feel like I've been in awkward like rooms to where people think that one of my parents are white and they're not. And so like some people kind of like, you're lying, and they'll press me about it. And I'm just like, what do I need to lie for? Like, I wouldn't say it's like racist. I just feel like it's just them like just
being ignorant and dumb.
Yeah, you know.
What's good about this interview is that people will see that like the commercial world is a little bit more, well, it's a lot bit more safer than the fashion world. Fashion world, it's pretty crazy. A lot of people experience racism, body shaming. Well,
body shaming.
Yeah, because we were talking earlier about losing out on a job for someone saying that you're too skinny.
Too skinny, yeah.
And then like you being afraid of being too big, putting on too much muscle. So
it's so funny because there was a point where I did have like a lot of muscle and my agent looked me dead in my face after we're done doing digitals. Your face is getting fat. And I was like, damn. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even mean to say it like that. The person next to me was like, wow. And he was like, I'm so sorry, KJ. But I was just like, it's okay. But damn, like my face is getting fat. This is a hard business if you don't have thick skin. Like if you can't take those types of comments with like a grain of salt. Luckily, I played basketball to where I've had coaches curse at me since I was like 10 years old. So it's like that stuff doesn't affect me. But this is the only job in the world to where you're getting told no weekly. It affects a lot of people. It affected me a lot when I first started. So it's like, you just gotta be able to take it to the chin, you know? And it's not necessarily no, they don't like your look. It's just no, you don't fit
the vision for the thing that they have going on. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people are like, no, they don't like me. They think I'm ugly. And they'll sit on that for a while until they get a job. You can't do that at all.
Right. Thank you for sharing your experience. And I think
that was a good little gym at the end.
I know it was. That's gonna be very helpful and stuff. And I'm glad we got that.
Yeah.
But all right, man, thank you for coming through. I'm hoping that we change this next generation of models to be smarter and, you know.
All through your help.
Thank you. You're right. You see? Okay. All right. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Peace out. Thanks for listening to today's show, and don't forget to hit that follow button to be in the loop when a new episode drops. Be sure to check out my model masterclass by visiting my website, brandonandrephoto.com, or by clicking the link in my bio on Instagram @thebrandonandre.